Welcome to Reflections, the podcast that biblically encourages, equips, and empowers women for apostolic life and service. Here's your host, Dr. Cindy Miller.
You know, when I think of spring, I get so excited because everything's warming up. I live in the northeast of the United States and long, hard winters. And when you see it coming to an end and there's sunshine and flowers and the earth is warming up and you have warmer days, it feels like not only is the earth being refreshed, but my spirit's being refreshed. But you know what? It's not only the earth being refreshed, but there's something that happens in me in spring. It makes me want to throw open the windows, let the breezes blow through the staleness of winter. And it also, amazingly enough, makes me want to just do spring cleaning, clean out my house. And it's not always like something I get really excited about. Like I don't have a winter cleaning mode. I just have a spring cleaning mode. But I do get excited because I want my home to be this warm, loving, inviting, organized space that I can thrive in. So not only my home, my workspace gets that treatment as well. Welcome, friends, to Let's Talk. I'm Cindy Miller. I'm your host for today. And with me is Michelle Graham. And she is going to be sharing with us on this episode of Organizing Your Home. Now, I can say from personal experience that, Michelle, you have helped me numerous times over the years. I think our first big inspirational, where you taught me and said, go and do thou likewise kind of moment was when I was complaining about my kitchen. And then you were talking about, I painted my kitchen and then kind of inspired me. You do a lot of do-it-yourself. Unfortunately, you haven't spent enough time with me to train me. I'm still like, who can I hire to get that done? But at least I'm headed in the right direction. So you're a busy lady. You made time for all these reflections. Let's talk listeners, viewers. You've served with your husband, Scott, in multiple capacities of ministries over 38 years, mom of 2, mother-in-law to 1, traveling all the time, working hard, but here you are today. So thank you for being with us. I want to jump into it because you have a lot you're going to share, and I don't want to hog all the time that we have. But, organizational skills is not something that comes naturally to most people, or maybe because I don't have them naturally, I feel like the whole world's lacking along with me. But how did you really start getting organized and saying, okay, this is my thing, this is what I love to do? When did that all start with you?
I started as a kid, I guess. Wanted everything neat and in order. It was nothing for my parents to come home from work. And I had come home from school and I had rearranged all of the furniture in the living room.
See, I think that is hilarious. I wouldn't even know what to do with the kid that did that to me.
I cannot even imagine my children doing that, but I did. And my dad would just say to me, he said, just tell me where I'm supposed to put my paper when I'm done. But they gave me the freedom to do that and allowed me to be creative.
That is amazing. I'm impressed.
But as a kid, I didn't do it all the right way. I would sometimes decide I want one drawer cleaned out and I dump that all in the bed and decide the items in that drawer really belonged in another drawer. So I dump the contents of that drawer on the bed as well. And in the meantime, I realized my desk really doesn't belong on this side of the room. I need that over there by the window where I can see better. And before long, I had rearranged the furniture. I had contents of drawers and clothing just
still on the bed.
On the bed, everywhere. And then I had this chaos. And it was getting to be nighttime to go to bed, and my bed's still covered. So I didn't really have a rhyme or reason to anything back then. I just knew what I wanted. But
so how did you get from it's all in the bed and now it's time to go to bed to everything has a place and everything's in its place? How was that journey for you? Did you go to school for it?
I didn't. In fact, it's made easy today because there's all kinds of stores that carry product on organization. You can go even into your local thrift store and find items. But back then, I literally used greeting card boxes, and I would cover them with contact paper to make them pretty and use those as dividers in my drawer. I just wanted things separated and neat. I wouldn't think.
And pretty. You wanted it
And
pretty.
I don't think I'm overboard with it, but just wanted a little bit of organization where it's not all coming together within the drawer.
Well, and it brings clarity of mind. So the more organized you are in your workspace, in your home, I think for me, the more organized my mind is.
The more peace it brings as well. Absolutely.
Well, okay. So we've been chatting about this podcast forever and a day. So we've had a lot of behind the scenes conversations about it. And you know that I have a closet, the upstairs at the top of my stairs, that I've told you, like it doesn't just need attention. It needs the miraculous. It needs an intervention, right? So I've told you about that. And I look at it and I go, I need to do this, but it's so overwhelming that even though I want to do it, it needs to be done, and I'm going to do it, I have not yet got motivated to do it. So help me and everybody listening. How do you have a huge project like that and you know it needs to be done and you want it done? How do you get motivated to dig into that closet or that workspace that is so terrifying?
I would first say find another part of your home maybe that's not functioning properly. Maybe that one drawer like I was talking about, and start there. Because if you can be successful with that small drawer, that's going to make you feel so good about it. That'll motivate you to do something bigger. Now, when you do want to start with a closet,
The closet.
Okay. Maybe start with a smaller closet. And like I did the other day, I just did a touch up on my hall closet. And it houses my winter coats. So we'll be coming into the fall season before long. And I wanted to get everything prepared for that. And so you take everything out of the closet to begin.
Okay, that right there, right there. I'm terrified.
Well, if
everything
you take
out.
everything out of the closet, or if you have a huge closet, maybe just start with one area of the closet. Maybe just start with the shoes, or start with a shelf. Maybe start there as opposed to taking everything out of that large closet. And do it in small nuggets. Yeah, it'd be a little bit easier.
I think in the top part of it is things I've saved from my children's childhood, baby, infant stage. I think that's up at the top. Then there's some extra blankets that we've not pulled out in forever and a day, but they're there in case we ever need them. Then there's towels, and then you just keep going down, and then you're like, oh, how did all those cleaning supplies get put there? So it's one of those kind of closets. But yeah, I could see taking it one shelf at a time, layer by layer, and it's not quite as terrifying if I think of it as one at a time.
The thing that I do is start with things that aren't functioning properly, and that's where you're going to want to start. Because you want this to function better in your family.
But it's not functioning.
And starting small. And then what I do is I have 3 boxes, 4 maybe, that you mark give away or sell, and put away and throw away. So that put away is the cleaning products that didn't belong there in the first place. You may have items, they're just in the wrong place. You're going to get rid of things that don't fit anymore, are out of style, that you're like, okay, this is from grade school. I'm never going to wear this again.
Yeah, I think those days are over.
We laugh, but there's people with that in their closet.
It is.
Okay. Put away items that go somewhere else, and then throw away things that are broken, things that are missing parts, and you thought you would fix it. You never have. In fact, you've already replaced it with a newer item. So it's things like that.
So why is it hard to throw it away? Why are we so emotionally attached to broken things or pieces or fragments or items we've just had forever? But why do we have them forever? Why don't we?
It's usually the memory behind it.
Slip through my fingers.
The memory behind it. Those items that are of your children's. Maybe have a time to go through them and look through them with your children. Maybe they would want some of those items kept for themselves. I would maybe get a memory box that is both photo safe and secure, that things aren't going to get into it, and put them in there. So you have them all in one place.
So I don't feel like I've just thrown away my children's memories.
Right. Right. There is a way to scan them as well. Maybe you have a lot of pictures that they have drawn through the years. There is a way to scan those and have them in a memory book. That would take up less space. And it would, have that sitting on your coffee table, and it would be looked at and admired.
Wouldn't just be in
More
a
than
box,
just
put in a
box.
closet, in the back, behind the blankets that no one's ever
Absolutely.
going to see.
Absolutely.
Well, let's think of it like this. So whether it's a house or an apartment or a mansion or something very small, kind of every house has the same ingredients to it. So if you were going to walk us through and just kind of talk us through each room and some suggestions to help us think about a starting point and a way of tackling projects in that room. Just walk us through room by room if you want to, however you want to teach us. I'm just gonna say take it and teach us.
Okay. So the first thing I do, let's say we're gonna look through a storage area. Maybe we want our storage containers. That's what I'm trying to say. The way you're gonna measure, say, let's work in your closet.
Okay.
We're gonna work in your closet. And you want to get some baskets for the top of that closet to put some of these blankets in, some items that you have up there. Maybe you do want some of your cleaning supplies in that closet. You want a basket to store those in, okay? So the first thing that you would do is measure the inside area of where you're wanting to store something, be it a drawer or be it a closet space. Keep in mind, in a drawer, you're measuring the inside of the drawer, and you want to get the height of the drawer as well as the depth of the drawer. So you're going to have to keep in mind how far out the drawer will open so that you will be able to get the storage in there. But
Not wanting to buy things that you get at home and then it's not going to work.
exactly. There's all these cute items out there, but trust me, all these little clear containers, they're all different sizes, and you're going to want your exact measurements for the area that you're working in. There are baskets, and then I always put labels on all of my containers. I get clear containers so I can see through them to see what is in them. Now, somebody may not like that. They may want to have all colored containers. And then with a label, that's fine. You're still going to know what is in there. But definitely you're going to want to
So no
label them.
confusion, no surprises.
Right. They do make the cute little labels even to put on a basket so that your baskets can be labeled as well. Another thing to think about is think of storage spaces that maybe that you've forgotten about, like under your bed. There are rolling containers that can be put under your bed that make for nice storage. I always think of inside of closet doors. So just a few things that come to my mind that are stored there. Inside of my kitchen cabinet, I have the fire blanket.
Oh, okay.
And it is on it just a little 3M hook, and they're the little adhesive that just adhere right to the cabinet itself.
So no wasted space.
No wasted space. It's in there. Another one is inside of another cabinet with your mixing bowls. You can hang your measuring spoons there. That's another thing. Or pot holders. I know people that have hung their pot holders just inside the door there. They know right where they are, right next to the stove. That's another thing. You want, when you're putting things back, you want them to be put in some type of function order.
Where it's not hard to get to, or just kind of a chaotic pathway to it.
Exactly. Things that are used on a daily basis, you're going to want in the front. Things that are used less often up high behind things that you have to move or something like that.
Just eliminate the frustration.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go to the rooms. We talked a little bit about the hall closet. Another hint that I will do in my hall closet, I have this in my bathrooms as well, is inside of the cabinet, on the wall space of your cabinet that's really nothing's in its way, I have those emergency lights.
Oh, okay. Good idea.
So that when the electricity is off, we just simply open a cabinet and flip those on, and we have light for the room.
Excellent.
So they're out of the way. They're not an eyesore on your wall constantly.
You're not in the middle of a blackout trying to find a flashlight and stubbing your toe, getting around.
Exactly. So that's just one of my little hints there. Your bedroom, I have a hint to folding, and I can show you that, and that is to think square, not rectangle. And that's true even with your anything in your organization. Your square containers are going to take up less space. They're going to be more functional than round containers.
Okay.
So years ago, it was the whole Tupperware, and they were all the rounds and everything.
I still have a few of them.
And I still have a few of them too. But when you're talking about storage space, and even in your pantry, stackability and that works so much better when you have square. And
Well, and you
rectangle.
talked before in another conversation with me about having a number. Are you going to talk about that? Because that's my
Sure.
thing. That's my
Okay.
thing right there.
Okay, so the number is have a number and stick with it. Okay, what I was talking about that is, so say our number is, we'll go with 8. Okay, 8's going to be our number. Well, I was organizing a kitchen for someone, and I opened one of their cabinets below, and they had it filled with these empty containers, be it butter containers, Cool Whip containers. It was filled. And I said, this is where that number comes into play. You know, let's have 8 of these, and we can throw away the rest of them.
Because I can tell you right now, I always think, if I throw that away, I'm going to need just one more container. It's not true. Now I've got them, and I've got one spot for some, and then I'm like, oh, I can stick the rest of them up there. It's out of control. So I'm really thinking this. I've got to get a hold of this number idea.
Well, the number idea, for instance, I have in my garage, which is next to our upright freezer, I have a 3-drawer plastic container that holds plastic containers. And that's for when we have college students over or guests over and we have leftovers and we would like to send that with them. I go right to there, and that's where those are. So they're not taking up space in my kitchen.
That you're not without when
And
you
I'm
need
not
them.
without. But I would say once that gets full, I don't need to store them somewhere else. In addition, I think in my storage area that I have allotted for them, once it's full, that's enough. I have enough containers.
And you're comfortable with that. You know from experience that you're not going to be in a crisis of life.
Exactly.
Should you not have that one extra container that you're about to get rid of?
And not have to worry about getting yours back.
And the stress of finding a place for everything. Owning stuff can be stressful because you got to find a place for it. You got to dust it. You got to tend to it.
That is the key. That's the whole key to organization right there, is everything having a place. If it doesn't have its place, then it's disorganized.
Because you're carrying it around, putting it in some other spot, and then moving it to another spot. And after a while, it just gets a little ridiculous.
So we take inventory of what is taking up our space, what is taking up real estate in this closet that really shouldn't be taking up real
there's
estate.
a lot, Michelle. There's a lot taking up that real estate. Valuable real estate. It's an older home, limited closet space. What am I doing?
Well, that brings me back to when we lived in a very, very small home when our oldest was a baby. And literally, I don't know how old this home was, but it had the smallest closets in there. I think that's back when they had 2 nice outfits for Sunday, and then they had a few work clothes, and that was about it.
You just didn't need it. You had one pair of shoes for church and one for work.
It.
Yeah.
Right. So here we were, and I was like, what am I going to do? Well, I did access that space, and I did get some storage rods that went on the back of the door that we were able to use as well. Yeah. And then again, off-season clothing went downstairs in the basement, and we would switch them out. So I advise that if you don't have a lot of storage space, to switch them out and just do that each season. Another hint on that for your closet space is when I do bring the new season in, I will put everything, my hangers. Now, first of all, I get hangers that are alike. And that way I don't have, not so much mix matched. I'm not all matchy-matchy, so per se, but I like the velvet hangers because they're thin and things can stay on them. They don't slide off as easily. And then I use skirt hangers for my skirts. We have a special pant hanger for my husband's pants, but I know some people like wood, and if that's your preference, to me, that just takes up a little more space in your closet. But when you're hanging those items back up in your closet, put the hanger backwards.
Oh, I've heard that before, but I haven't
do
done
that
it yet.
every season. That way, when you're ready to switch out for the new season, you can see what was in your closet the whole season and you never wore. So to me,
And so do you really get rid of what you don't wear?
I do.
Okay.
I do for the most part. Now, there could be a reason why it wasn't worn. I don't know. But anyway, for the most part, I do. If I haven't worn it,
the guilt over buying something, and now I own it. I love it. I just don't love it on me, but someday I'm going to love it on me. Apparently. Oh yeah, I could do that. That would be nice of me.
That's right. You gift it. That way you can see it once in a while.
Share it. Be loving to someone else. Be kind.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I know that the need is real, and I mean what you're saying is just like so practical. You know, it's just a matter of like, okay, baby step it. That's really, in some ways, that's what you're saying. Like just do this one thing here, do one thing there. It's not going to be everything on your bed at nighttime in time to go to sleep. It's just do one thing at a time.
One thing at a time. So I'm going to go back to your closet.
Okay.
I've taken everything out of the closet.
I really appreciate
I'm ready
you
to put it back in.
tending to my closet.
So what I'm doing, another thing that I do is I put a category of clothes together. Okay. I put all of the blouses together, shirts, casual, sporty type outfits together, skirts. My husband has his clothing all on his side that's all in his categories, and I do them by color. That's my preference. It's easy to find. So I have all dresses together. So all of my black, say we have black, and then I have black with print. Then I have black and white. Then I have my leopard.
And it just saves time when you're...
It saves so much time. And even when you're putting your clothing back after they're laundered, it makes it so much easier. Yeah.
And then when you're, needing to pack a suitcase because you travel all the time.
I do.
You're not scrambling looking for things and trying to play let's match this and match that because it's already done for you.
Absolutely. And for somebody that does travel all the time, I would suggest, like we do, is we have our travel toiletry bag. That is not anything that we use while we're at home.
So it just stays with the suitcase.
It is ready to go.
Excellent.
Yeah, that's easy. Yeah. And then, of course, when you've taken everything out, I clean the floor really well before we start.
Get the cobwebs and the back corners.
Start putting everything in. And I like to access every space. So if you have just a hanging rod above, you might consider the rods that come below to give you a second layer there. Or you consider the plastic containers like I talked about that have the drawers that you can put underneath. And again, label so you're not wondering what's in them. We just set up my niece with something like that in her college dorm.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, so
she's good to go.
Accessing all of her space. I get baskets for the above on the shelves. And again, that's going to be things that I'm not going to be using that often. I have all of my hats in a basket. I have, let's see.
But within easy reach when you're ready for it.
Within easy reach, yeah. Now, something that's not so easy to reach is our travel. I do have a travel container as well. And that contains like our binoculars, our rain ponchos, things like that, our adapters when we're going overseas, things like that. So it's all there together. So when I'm going on a cruise or on a mission trip, everything's right there. And I don't have to look 3 places in the house for things when we're trying to pack.
Which means a lot.
It does.
Very helpful.
Time can save time.
Well, let's talk about one of the things that we had kind of mentioned earlier. I want to come back to. You were talking about when you're folding clothing, think square or rectangle. So is this something that you do like with towels, with clothes, with everything? Is that what you were mentioning? Because I may have missed that point and I wanted to come back to it.
I do that with a lot of things, okay? Mainly for in the drawer space. And I can give a demonstration if you want me
Yes,
to.
for everyone that's viewing, we're going to have a demonstration. And if you're listening, just come back and view.
Let's see. This happens to be a sock organizer. And I suggest those or dividers for your drawers so that it keeps things apart, even though you have them folded. I have a couple different kinds of socks. Now, some people like to roll them and just throw them in a drawer. You can roll them, of course, but this is rolled, but which basically takes up the entire space.
Right.
Okay. And now this has several different ones that attach to it, so it will fill your
So
entire
the whole drawer would look
drawer
like that.
space. Absolutely. But if you will fold it instead, okay. Now this is what's called the file fold. Okay, you think of just a file drawer with your folders in it. That's why we're going to do it in more square, and we're going to fold it like so.
Okay.
And we're going to place it in here like this.
Okay, so
like a
toes
file
over the
folder.
top. Right.
Now, as opposed to them rolled or in a drawer like such, stacked up, you only see what's on top. Whereas if you had the file method, so this is a little bigger sock. So we're going to fold it twice in and then once together. Then this rolled style, this way we can fit two.
And then you'll be able at a glance to see what's there without digging through it.
Yeah, at a glance.
Absolutely.
Now in the sock drawer, of course, my husband's drawer, there is a light on his nightstand there, but in the morning it's tough to see. So I have literally all of the black socks on one side and the navy on the other side.
So you don't send him out not matching.
So we don't have, right. So again, in and like this.
I love it.
Okay.
Excellent.
So there's our socks. Now, we're going to talk about clothing. You talked about my towels. Now, for towels, I say there's no right way to fold a towel. I actually fold them different ways depending on where they're stored.
Oh, okay.
You want to fold them the best way.
I'm pretty sure my method is the right method, but go ahead. Teach me.
You want to fold them the best way for your storage solution, okay? I have folded them I folded them with the washcloth with the towel.
Oh, I've never done that.
I've done that, so they're staying together.
I like that.
I have, right now, I have them folded in a guest room, and then my washcloths are in a basket, and they're folded this way so that you can see all the washcloths, and you can pick the one you want. But anyway, they just fit neater in the basket this way than if you were to stack them up.
And at a glance, easy to see, know what's available.
And all contained in a little basket, and they're not going to be falling off the shelf, anything like that. Or when you go to pull a towel out, they're not going to be falling.
Oh, yeah. And becoming unfolded in the process.
Now, towels in my kitchen are rolled. And the reason they're rolled, I have a very, very shallow drawer that literally you couldn't stack two on top of one another. But if I roll them, and I'll show you, this isn't a towel, but I'll show you what I mean by it. If this were a towel, I would fold it this way and this way, and then I would just begin to roll it. And I roll them and put them in my drawer along with my washcloths, and they fit nicely in there. They fit, they don't get stuck. I don't have to mash them down to get the drawer open. For today, this is our drawer, or I guess if you have t-shirts that are in your closet and you wanted to have, maybe you have shelving in there and you wanted them in a basket like this. Okay, this is our file folding method for our t-shirt. Okay, so I have folded the t-shirt in half. I get the shoulders together and I fold it together like that. I fold the sleeves in like so, and I do both this direction and one this direction, and there's the top of it, and then I stand it up.
Excellent.
So then by standing these up, you're able to see
Mm-hmm.
all of
The whole row.
the whole row. Right, I'll do that again. I get my shoulders together and fold it in like so. Together and like that. And then they just stand up. Now, I brought a pair of pants just to show you because they're bigger and bulkier. Okay, so this is just a pair of sweatpants. Again, I folded it long ways, like so. And then I fold in here like this because we're thinking square, remember? Now, this is a little bit bulkier, so and it's longer, so I'm just going to fold that over once and then another time there.
So you start at the top and fold it over, then you go to the bottom and fold it over so that they meet in the kind of in the middle.
Right. Again.
So that is the file folder method.
The file folder method.
Excellent.
I have learned that you just are able, by doing this, you're able to fit more in your space than if they were stacked on top of one another.
So talk about, I love that. I love knowing that we've got a new thing going on with that. But one of the things that I think a lot of homes, for myself and others, I'm sure experience this as well, is those little knickknacks, those things that are given to us, gifts, or maybe something, I even collected 20 years ago, but it's not special to me anymore. Talk about what you do with all your stuff. What do you do with stuff?
Okay, well, one of the books that I recommend is called The Messy's Manual, and it was talking about every one of us are a messy to a degree.
I confess.
And
true.
we just have to kind of get a handle on our messiness. And the messy that I was is the sentimental messy. You talked about your kids' items. Yeah. Speaking of confessions.
Okay. I'll feel better about myself. Go ahead.
I was cleaning out the basement and I found my tooth fairy stash of my kids.
I love it.
Now, they're adults now. And they just had to laugh that they couldn't believe that I still had them. But I really, truly, I was not saving them out of sentimental.
You forgot they were there.
I forgot they were there. Yeah. This was an area that had been. This was just a storage area in our basement.
Well, you went through a flood a couple of years back, so that probably really
out
created.
of our home for 4 months, and they literally had to move everything out of our house except for this storage area that I'm talking about. And then I recently had to basically
you moved back
move
in?
back into my house.
Okay.
So I had to. They'll pack all those boxes for you, but they sure wouldn't empty them. So I had to do all of that. So
That's
that gave
a
me a
lot.
chance to refresh and go through some items. But yeah, so you collect items. Here's a for instance. I collected teacups and teapots for years. And when you decide you don't want to do that anymore, but you have to give that announcement out to your friends and family so that you're not still getting those for your birthday and Christmas and all the holidays.
Except then your children go, but Mom, no cookie jar I gave you from XYZ place. And you're like, oh, no, I wasn't going to get rid of that one. No.
Well, yeah, not that one. But again, that's where we have our number and we stick to it. Yeah. So maybe you keep a few of the special ones and then you gift those other ones. And I'm a opponent of regifting. I'm okay with that.
Absolutely.
And now I don't regift something that I didn't treasure in the first place. But I think it's important to maybe note when you get something like that and you're not going to use it.
Right.
But maybe just put a name on it where you got it from and the date that you got it so that when you're ready to regift it, you know that that's a safe thing to regift.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yes,
you know
absolutely.
What I mean? You certainly wouldn't want to hurt anyone's feelings.
Right.
But again, that...
But just stuffing it in a back closet isn't valuing what they gave you in the first place.
It's not.
So to share it with someone who will love it even more than I do. I think that was the expression you used once. They will love it even more than I do.
They will love it more than you do. Absolutely.
I like that.
And you don't want it taking up your space.
No,
No.
no. It would wind up in the closet.
Yes. Let
Well,
me talk a little bit about kids.
yeah,
The kids'
please
room.
do.
Now, okay, kids' room's fun. And I know that with toddlers, it's hard to keep their room clean and all of that. But if you teach them organization at a young age, then hopefully something will catch on. The thing that I like to do when my children were younger is when I would do their laundry, I had a basket for each of the kids and I had a little tag on the end with their picture on it. And they knew that they would come and get their basket
So this was before they could even read their name.
before they could read their name.
Oh, impressed.
So, they could come get their basket. And there's some things now they're hanging things and that were a little more difficult, but there's some things they can put away. They can
And
put away-
should start.
They can put away those socks. They can put away their little t-shirts or something like that. And, even if you start them with just a few items, teach them how to do that.
That just starting them is the process. And kids that age, they love being involved in whatever mom's doing. So that's helpful.
And bins with pictures on them of the item of the toys that go in that, be it their Legos, have a little cute little picture of Legos on it. They know that goes there. Their books, put them in color order. Then that's teaching them colors and they can return the book to the proper color. So little things like that. Now, this idea was wonderful. I got this from a friend and I incorporated it right away when I found out about it. We used to have a mom's group and we would go to one another's house and have play groups and Bible studies together. And she taught me this and it was a great thing. She had seasonal toys for her kids. And rather than one toy box full of all these toys that, things got to the bottom, never got played with, all of that, she would only have certain toy items out for the season. When that season was up, when she would switch out the clothing, she would also switch out the toys. So it was
felt fresh.
brand new toys.
Yes.
Now, maybe not their absolute favorite that they play with every day, but a bigger portion of them. And so I just thought that was neat and fresh.
That's a great idea.
Come fall, we would pick out, I'd say 3 items, and I'd say, now, well, let's pick out something that we can gift somebody else because we knew the holidays were coming and they were going to be getting more toys. And I thought, you know what, this is a good time to purge. Let's let
That is a good idea before the holidays.
Let's let them pick out some that we can donate and be a blessing to others. Yeah,
That's a great idea.
so I thought that was good.
Yeah, I like it.
And again, kids space, so we can access the under the bed, that storage area for them. Put things at their level so that they can help to put things away. Go ahead and put 4 or 5 outfits together and have them hanging as an outfit and let them choose.
Oh, good idea.
They're already
So
together.
they're choosing, it's their decision, but it's a safe choice. It's not going to be
It's a safe
purple
choice.
and green and orange
Absolutely.
for Sunday service.
Absolutely. You can go ahead and match it all up, have a little hanging bag on the hanger if you need to with the socks or whatever. And just that takes the guesswork out of it. And that helps, especially when you're packing for trips as well, to go ahead and have everything put together in outfits when you're packing.
And this eliminates that Sunday, we can't find the shoes, we can't find the shirt, we're late. And then the frustration that's mounting and everybody gets to church and they need to go to the prayer room, not just want to.
Right. And again, shoes. There's all kinds of shoe options. There's shoe boxes. There's the shoe bags. Now, keep in mind, those shoe bags can be used for a number of things. They can be hung, where your children can reach them, and they could have all different craft items in them. Their socks can be in them, behind the door in the closet. Anything that makes it easier and accessible and just the best use of your space.
Yeah, absolutely. Even if it is that, just start with one corner of the room and manage that and then move to the next. But it's teaching them. I'm just thinking, of my children growing up, some of these things I wish I'd had in place would have made life a lot simpler. But I didn't know, wasn't thinking about, you're just kind of doing the next thing, or you do what your parents did with you. But this is intentional. This is saying, The confusion stops here. I can. Are there some books that you would recommend? I think in the notes section we'll have a list of books, but is there one particular one that you would say kind of got you started? The Messy Manual, that was such a great, that was such a great one.
That was a great Confessions of an Organized Homemaker. That was a good one as well. And then Emily Barnes. I've always enjoyed Emily Barnes' books.
Mm-hmm.
And she had one, The 15-Minute Organizer.
Oh, that's inviting. 15 minutes.
15
I mean,
minutes.
you can set a timer and do almost anything in 15 minutes.
Exactly.
Well, you know what? We have so much we could have covered and we didn't get to, but our time's almost up. So why don't you just take a couple of moments and whatever we ran out of time and you really wanted to say but didn't get to say, you can just help us sum this up or think about something that you found was really important to you.
Mm-hmm. Kitchen organizing is very important.
Yes, it is. It's the hub of the house.
And something that has helped me, and I get the little clear containers, and I have my spices in alphabetical order.
Mm-hmm.
So I have them grouped in a little.
No digging around trying to find the cinnamon?
No digging at all. Nope. I have the A to B, A and B's
Mm-hmm.
are in this one and this, and I just pull that out. And then when I have a recipe, I just kind of pull those out, have them on the counter, and get my spices and put them all out. And it's just so easy.
It keeps
easy.
Keeps you wanting to cook because you're not frustrated.
The other thing is the clear containers with the little snap lids. I have those in my pantry, and it makes it so much easier for doing my grocery shopping.
Okay.
I can literally open my pantry, and I don't have a big pantry, not at this house. And I just access the space the best that I can. But I'm able to look at that and say, oh, we're out of that. And so
my frustration in my kitchen is I have such a deep pantry that I really only know what's, in the first 4 inches of it.
Okay.
The other foot, I have no idea what's behind it.
Okay, so there are some organizing drawers that will sit on there, and they can pull out so that you will be able to view everything a little bit easier. Same with your deep drawers, like where your pots and pans are. I have that in my drawer. I found one of those wire drawers that pull out.
Okay.
So it pulls out of my pans, and then the side one has one that pulls out as well for my cookie sheets and that. Now, a neat little thing that I've used, and I use it in another cabinet, is one of those file folder racks. It's perfect for your cutting boards and your.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Your sheet, little things like that. So
And that way they stand up and they're not just laying and you have to pull everything out to get to the one.
Exactly. So kitchen organizing, and I don't cook a lot, but when I do, I like it neat, organized, and putting things, again, like I said, where they're easily accessible.
And that time of year when you are really home and cooking, you don't want it to be a frustrating time or like, oh, it's too much work, let's just go out, because there is something about gathering the family in the kitchen and I love that. I'm not something I do all the time, but I do love being, and especially since you got my kitchen, you helped me come up with those great ideas to redecorate and revamp my kitchen. So thank you for that. My kitchen thanks you. My family thanks you. I thank you. That was excellent. Well, we're going to have more of all that she's been sharing, some things that she didn't get to share with you. We'll put it in the notes section so that you can access it. But thank you so much, Michelle, for being here. It went way too fast. And I just want all of you to remember that Reflections Magazine is going to have the full article in print, or you can get the digital copy. You can go to our social media and find it. And we want you to subscribe, and please do share this podcast with your friends. That means so much to us. Until next time, take care of yourself. Get organized.